Yeah. So again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Um, so today we're gonna one of the things that I've been actually preparing for the past I don't know 2 or 3 hours. We're actually moving stuff around. I just moved over. I don't know. Last count was 20 million cubic meters across to the other stations and whatnot. Right. So now um, I'm gonna focus on the planetary interactions, basically um, doing planetary interactions, setting up the bases or the command centers. Here we're gonna focus on doing the helium fuel block um, ingredients, right? So this is what I have here in the notepad on screen. Let me verify and check it. It's not like covered in blur. Right, perfect. Oh, the half of it is okay. I'm gonna push that on top. There we go. Everything's clear, right? Okay, good. So yeah, so this is basically the list, right? So where did I get this from? So let me add the helium. There's a neat trick. Um, you could actually just highlight, and so there's a neat trick to link the items and make it clickable and link it to directly to the information and the attributes and whatnot. So right click, highlight of them, and then right click and then auto link and choose item type. That should link to the blueprint. Anytime now. Is it lagging or is it not? Is it not? I'm not sure if. Okay, maybe it doesn't work in the notepad. Okay, that's a shame. All right, but it should work. Let's, for example, here. Let me create test 1, 2, 3. Right in this channel, if I'm gonna type that here, unless there is no, I guess, could be a typo. Give me a sec. There we go. Yeah, I don't know why it didn't work earlier. Okay, let's try that here because I think it should work. I actually tried this way back when I first started exploring planetary interaction. There we go. It's actually working. All right, so I'm gonna close that. All right, so that's linked directly to the helium fuel block blueprint, right? So if you look at here, um, you'd see here the basic requirement or input materials, right? So from the top, we have here the planetary materials. Basically, it's what we call as planetary interactions, right? So what we have here from the top, we have the planetary materials. We have the 4 pieces of enriched uranium, 22 oxygen, mechanical parts, coolant, and robotics. So these are basically like refined versions of what we can get from the planet, which you can see in the background, right? And we're starting from the top, from the very first one, which are actually the very common source of the planetary material, I believe, is the barren planet, which is the one that we're looking at the background. So to continue, we have 2 parts or 2 groups, right? Required to build a 40 pieces of helium fuel block. We have the planetary materials that comes from the planets, and we have the minerals, right? This is actually ice, refined materials from the ice belts, right? Um, so we have the heavy water, liquid ozone, helium isotopes. Helium actually basically only exists in a Mars space, right? So we are in a Mars space. You can see in the background it's red, right? Reddish something that denotes that we are in the Mars space. So or empire as what they call it, right? So helium, right? For the other regions or factions, it could be different, right? But I'm not. I think before it used to be like dedicated to a specific type of structure, but I think they changed that And now basically you could use a fuel block in any station, any type, right? So it makes it easier. And then the last one, it would be the strontium clathrates. All right. So all of these four comes from the ice materials, refined version of ice materials. Alrighty. So all right. So I mean, getting the ice materials is very easy, right? So you just have to go to an ice belt. There's a lot. Usually, there's like, at least one in every region or constellation, right? So that's easy. You just go there and mine. But the not really hard, but it's gonna take time to set it up. Would be the planetary materials, right? So that's what we are gonna do today. All right. So I have that breakdown here, right? So the first one on the top is the enriched uranium, right? If you click that in the information here, it goes to the planetary production tab. So the refined commodities, the enriched uranium is basically a tier 2 version or refined level 2 commodity from the planet. So to make these, you also need tier 1s, which are the precious metals and toxic metals, right? So 40 of each, right? And combined, we get 5 enriched uranium. And the third level 3 version of that is the nuclear reactors. So we go down again deeper because these are tier 1s, meaning they were refined at least one level up, right? So these are refined versions. If we're going to check the precious metals, it will tell us that we need 3,000 noble metals. That's the raw resource to build 20 precious metals, which is basically required for building mechanical parts, enriched uranium, and biocells. Those are tier 2s, right? So the rawest, form is the noble metals. Noble metals, if I'm gonna click it here again, it should say here, basically the information, right, of the noble metals. It will tell you where you could extract it. So it says extractable on what kind of planet, right? So right now, currently, this could change, right? Because the game always changed and evolved. Right now, we have two options: the barren and the plasma. So you will see barren, common, very common in majority of the materials here, right? If you can see, if I'm gonna highlight the barren, right, material or the sources, we have here barren, right? That's one. Another one here, right? Another one here. There's a lot. It's actually like, I think I'm almost confident it's the most used planet when building at least the fuel block, right? Alrighty, and the second one would be the planet plasma, right? So I believe, and I think, if I'm right, there's somewhat like a percentage, right? Where, the noble metals actually exist, are abundant, more abundant compared to the plasma. And I believe for noble metals, it's actually barren. However, you will actually get that information when you have the basic skills for the planetary management, right? So let's close this and let's go to the skill page, right? So skill page. All right. So planetary. Okay. So here we are. So, like I said earlier, the one way for you to figure out and check which planet is the best for the raw material. Let's, for example, for this one, like I showed earlier, we actually need two types of tier 1 materials, right? The precious and the toxic. Both of them, of course, are derived from the raw materials, which is the noble metals for the precious metals and the heavy metals for the toxic metals. So let's start with the precious metals, right? So precious metals exist either the barren and the plasma. So I have here in my inventory one Baron, right? I'm pretty confident it's the Baron where it's more abundant, but let's just, double check. So this is the Baron planet, right? So if we do a scan here, I'm gonna drag it here real quick. Okay, drag. Wait a minute. I'm pretty sure that that part is actually blurred. Give me a sec. I'm just gonna remove the blurry effect. Right, so you guys could see, and I'm also gonna remove the overlay here real quick. Alright, I'm gonna remove all the blurry effects. Alrighty, there we go. That should be clear. Let me double check real quick. Alright, I'm also gonna remove the goals there. Alright, I'm just gonna put that back later on. Alright, there we go. Everything's clear, right? So we have that there, right? The scanner on the build to check basically what is available in this planet, right? So if you notice, that's where the noble metals are, right? So I could be wrong actually, but this is high sec, so if you can see here, the bars actually represent how dense is the resource here. So in the Baron, it looks like it's base metals and carbon and microorganisms are actually abundant, but it looks like I'm wrong. Okay, so let me check. Let's see if we could find a plasma planet, if it's better, right? So basically the easiest way to check that, right, like I did earlier, just click on this solar system link in the upper left. That should open the solar system information, and it will show you the orbital bodies, right? Or you could click on that tab, and you look for the type of planet. It will say here, enclosed with, parentheses, the type of planet. So we're looking for at least barren or plasma, right? So I think there's at least one plasma here. Oh shoot, there is none. We might need to go to another system. All right. So we know that for the barren, it's at least one bar, right? And it will actually show. Gonna drag it here, right? Close that first. It will actually show, like if you click it, right? If you click that resource and you drag this, right? All right. Let's see where. Oh my, I'm not seeing anything. All right, let's drag it. There we go. There they are. So for microorganisms, there's a lot, right? So ideally, the bar should be right here, at least right here, right? So that should be so the dense, most dense or focused, abundant area of the planet. So, but this is high sec, so I got used to doing it in null sec, right? In null sec is like way more compared to null sec in terms of density in the resources. So there, so at least I guess this is where the sweet spot is, right? So yeah, so with that, basically all you have to do is, if we're gonna choose this, right, which I'm not sure yet because I think plasma would be better, but it's worth a check. So all you have to do is basically when you have that, make sure you have in the command center in your inventory ready, and you go to build, and then you build command center basically, right? So all you have to do is drag that and you put it there, right? and that will be consumed right after you submit it. But in this example, I'm just not gonna click it yet because we have to look for, or I want to check first how the plasma planet looks like. All right, I'm gonna press escape. All right, I'm gonna move to the other neighbor system and check if we have plasma planets there.